Hey everybody, so it's time to do another season preview here, and this one, Vegas Golden Knights. Vegas shocked the world last year, first year expansion team. They made it all the way to the Stanley Cup final, where eventually they lost to the Washington Capitals, but still the greatest expansion season of all time in at least North American professional sports. Just ridiculous season that no one saw coming. How are they going to follow that up? So I went on Roster Resource like I do for all these videos, looked at what Roster Resource has for their lineup, went off of that, and this is what we got in Vegas this year. Jonathan Marchessault, William Karlsson, and Riley Smith is their top line. Their second line, their new guy, Stastny in the middle, with Alex Tuch and Tomas Tatar on the wings. Erik Haula centers the third line with Ryan Carpenter and Tomas Nosek. And then Cody Eakin, Ryan Reeves, and Lindberg make up your fourth line. Their defense pairs, Brayden McNabb and Nate Schmidt, Shea Theodore and Derek Engelland, Nick Holden and Colin Miller. Fleury is your starting goaltender, obviously, with Malcolm Subban backing him up. And your extra players are Pierre-Edouard Bellemare up front, and then you have Hunt and Merrill on the back end. So this is what Roster Resource has as their lineup. I don't think that this is going to end up being their main lineup come the season. I don't know what to think in general about Vegas, really. Because on paper, when you look at this lineup, it's not that great. It's not a spectacular lineup, especially up front. James Neal's gone. David Perron's gone. They've lost a lot on the wings. Tomas Tatar does not belong anywhere near the second line after how he's played the last couple of years. Obviously, they brought in Stastny. They're really good down the middle. With Stastny in that second line spot, they're really, really good down the middle. You've got William Karlsson, Paul Stastny, Erik Haula, and Cody Eakin. That's a very solid center group. And then you have Pierre-Edouard Bellemare as your extra forward. I don't think he's going to be your extra forward, but he can play center or wing. So, I mean, talk about, deep down the middle and a really good center spot. They're fine there. Where I worry about them is on the wings. Alex Tuch, still a young player, but a very good player. I'm not so much worried about him. I'm worried about their depth wings, and then Tomas Tatar, given the way he's played the last couple of years, does not belong on a second line on any team in the NHL, let alone a good one. So, I'm a little bit worried about that. But I also think that this is not going to be the lineup come the start of the regular season. There are a lot of players in Vegas, either in the minors right now or prospects playing in junior or the college, that I think have a chance to make this team. I mean, Tatar is way too high. If they could get another if they could get another wing for the second line there, that would be a really good start. I don't think Carpenter, Nosek, or Lindberg are locks to be in everyday players on this team. Ryan Reeves, I think, probably stays in the lineup for the most part. He's their toughness and really important to this team, but he's going to have to earn it. He's not just going to get in this lineup. He's not just going to get handed a spot in this lineup. He's going to have to play well and earn it. He's going to have to bring physicality. He's going to have to, play his role well and add a little bit of offense to show he can play somewhat hockey to be in this lineup on a regular basis. But they're certainly going to keep him around given how tough he is and what he brings in that aspect. And I think it's going to be interesting to see how many games Reeves plays this year. Does he play a regular fourth-line role? I think he's certainly capable. He's a very capable fourth-liner in this league, and if he plays up to that potential, he might play all 82 games this year. If he doesn't, there are people waiting to take his spot. I like their defense. I really like their defense. Obviously, Vegas is a team that's been in the conversation about Erik Karlsson. If they were to land Erik Karlsson, that would really change things. That would be a huge boost to them on the back end. But Schmidt has played really well. Brady McNabb I really like a lot. Derek Englund's a great defensive defenseman in this league, and then you put him with someone who can bring offense the way Shea Theodore can. That's just a really, really solid second pair. And Colin Miller's played well, and Nick Holden's going to do fine as a bottom pair defenseman. They also have Brad Hunt and John Merrill, so I mean, you can switch out anywhere you want with this bottom pair, but I think they're really strong on defense. They obviously have a world-class goaltender in Marc-Andre Fleury, one of the best goalies in the league. Subban played well as a backup last year, which surprised me, being all the the few years I saw him in Providence, and he seemed to get worse and worse every year. Then he got this NHL chance with Vegas, and he's been good. He's played well. So the only area I'm really worried about this team is up front, and that's because they've lost David Perron and James Neal, and their wings have taken a hit. So goal scoring, I think, could be a bit of an issue this year, and it's really tough to tell what to expect from this team, because on paper last year they weren't that great either. When you looked at their roster on paper, you certainly didn't expect a first place team and a team that was going to go all the way to the Stanley Cup final. So it's hard for me to talk bad about them, even though when I look at their lineup, I'm like, all right, this team could be pretty good, but they're not a great team. They're not a top contender. They're not a team that's gonna really scare me. But they weren't last year, and look what they did. So I mean, I'm going into this season expecting a playoff team from Vegas, but I really don't know what to expect, so to say. Like, I feel like this team could go anywhere. This team could go as high as repeat what they did last season, or this team could completely fall out and look like an expansion team that they are. And I don't know which way to think with this team. I'm going in with not expecting them to be as good and have as ridiculous of a season as they did last year, but I also don't expect them to miss the playoffs or be a bad team. I think they're going to be probably in that, in the mix in the Pacific Division. I don't think they're going to win it, but I do think they'll be in the playoffs, and they still have a very solid team. And I think the most interesting thing about Vegas heading into this season is really, what does their lineup end up looking like? Because I really don't think it's this. I don't think Tatar plays second line. I don't think Nosek, Lindberg, and Carpenter all are everyday players. I think there are opportunities on this team to win a job. And right off the bat, I think Pierre-Edouard Bellemare is probably an everyday player in this lineup ahead of Lindberg or Nosek. I think he probably plays a regular shift more before those two do. So we'll just have to wait and see. There are jobs to be won in training camp in Vegas. I think that between prospects and guys that they have in the AHL, I think there's certainly the chance that this lineup looks different come opening night than what it looks like right now. So we'll have to see how the preseason goes, how the rookie tournaments go, how training camp goes, and we'll see what they look like come opening night. But I expect Vegas to be a good team again. I don't think they're going to repeat the level of success that they had last year, but I'm still expecting a solid team, and I think they're off to a very good start as a franchise. Obviously, what they did last year was incredible, and I think that with all the assets that they've built up, the draft picks, the prospects, everything, I think they're going to be, a very good team in this league for probably a very long time. So that's Vegas, and this has certainly been the hardest team to do so far, and I think going to be, overall one of the hardest teams to look at, because you just don't know. There are jobs to be won here. Everyone's going to be fighting for a roster spot, and I really don't know what to expect from them as far as how good they are this season. So that's what I got on Vegas. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media, check out offthewallhockey.com. All those links in the description below. Keep spreading the word about this channel. Let's keep this thing growing. Thanks again for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Talk to you guys soon.